In this video, we're going to go over how to lay out a trifold brochure. That is a 3-panel brochure. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is set up our document. So number of pages, we need 2 pages because we need the front of the brochure and we need that back or that inside of the brochure. Start page could be 1. Let's cut our facing pages off. Page size will be a letter size document, but instead of portrait, we need to switch it to landscape. So that way it will be horizontal rather than vertical. For number of columns, we're gonna switch to 3, right? Because we're gonna have 3 separate panels. And then for our margins, mine is set to 0.5, which is half an inch. I'm gonna switch mine to 1/4 of an inch so I have a thinner margin all the way around. And then I'm going to press OK. One thing I wanted to notice that when I changed 0.25 here, all 4 of my boxes changed, my bottom, left, and my right. That is because I have this setting linked. So it says make all settings the same. I'll zoom in on it. This little thing right here. If this was not clicked, then I would have to change each box individually, and that's not what I want to do. So I'm going to press OK. So here are our 3 columns. Now what is worth noting is how this is laid out. So the first thing we're going to do is label each section just so we know what we're doing. Okay, so this section is our cover. So I'm going to type that in, cover. So this panel will be the cover of our magazine. I'm going to make it a lot larger so that we can see it and we don't forget what is what. Okay. This middle panel is actually the back of the brochure. So when it's all folded up, this is the back. Okay, let's make that bigger. And then this is our inside flap. So we'll call this inside flap. Inside flap. That's too big. Let's try 30. There we go. It's good enough. Inside flap. Okay, so we got everything labeled. We know what we're doing. We know what goes where. So to start off for our cover, I normally start off with a background image. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make I just zoomed out a little bit just in case you're wondering what I'm doing. I'm going to make a picture frame. So I'm going to start from one corner, and I want my cover, this image is only going to go on this first panel. So I'm going to stop it right about here. So that way it covers all corners, right? And then it goes halfway in between the cover panel and that back panel. So that image goes halfway. It could go all the way if you choose to, but I'm choosing as a designer to make mine go halfway. So when it folds, the cover will be on this half, the back half will have its own image. All right, so let's put in my cover image. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Place. And then I'm going to put in, let's see, what picture do I want from my cover? I'm going to switch mine to thumbnail so I can see my images. I think I'll use this one. Okay, so per usual, our image comes over and it's huge. I'm going to go over to my black arrow. When I scroll over my image, I'm not clicking it. I'm just taking my mouse and literally moving it on top of the image. This circle opens up. I'm going to right click on that circle and go down to fitting. Okay, so because this is a picture of the actual place, I do not want it stretched, which means I don't want it looking super skinny. I don't want it looking super fat. I don't want it distorted at all. So what I'm going to hit is I'm going to fill frame proportionally. All right, just proportionally. Let's see what we get. Looks pretty good. So it's not the whole image, but it's as much image that will fit in this box without skewing or distorting the image. So this looks good to me. I like it. You also have the flexibility to move this image around if you wanted to. I'll give you an example. I'm going to switch to my white arrow. Notice my white arrow, when I scroll over it, you'll see these brown lines that pop up. I'll do it again. That's the size of your actual image. Okay? So let's say I wanted to move this a little bit and I wanted to see more buildings. I could slide it using that white arrow, not the black one, but the white one. If I wanted more water, I can slide my image this way. So I think I'm going to leave it where it was, which was about here. And that's good for me. So I'm going to switch back to my black arrow. Okay. All right, we're good. Okay, so now I am going to add the background to this side. So this time, instead of having a picture in only one box, this particular background is going to go across both of these boxes. And again, you don't have to do it this way. You can have as many pictures as you like. This is just for my personal design. So I'm going to go to File again. I'm going to go to Place. And this time I'm going to use this nice yellow texture. And I'm going to hit Open. Okay. So same deal. I'm going to go to my black arrow. I'm going to wand over. Remember, we're not clicking yet. We're just going to wand over this area where my circle shows up. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to Fitting. And I want to fit content to frame. Because it's abstract, it's not of anything, so I don't have to worry about anything getting stretched or distorted. It can't be stretched or distorted because it's a picture of essentially nothing. Okay, the next thing I want to do, because to me this color is a little too rich or vibrant, I feel like it'll interfere with my text. I'm going to change the opacity of this image, which means I'm going to make it a slightly translucent, slightly see-through. So what I did was I should say what I'm going to do is, the first thing I do is click onto the white space just to deactivate my selection of the image. Then I'm going to go over to this circle. I'm going to right click on it. And then I'm going to go to, hold on. Okay, I'll try one more time. The square wasn't selected, so InDesign didn't know what to do. So I'm going to click on my background image. I'm going to scroll over to the circle, and then I'm going to go to Effects. So I'll do that one more time. Make sure your image is selected, and it is, using the black arrow. When I scroll over the circle, I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to go to Effects. It's right underneath Fitting. I'm going to go to Effects, and then you'll see Transparency. So right now my transparency is set to 100%. I have my preview on so that way I can see the effects that I'm taking or the changes that I'm making. And so where it says 100%, I just want to make it less than 100. I'm going to go down to maybe like, I want it really sheer, so maybe like 40%. Yeah, that works for me. So that way I have the color. You see the nice yellow, but it's not as bright as it was. So that's what it was like. It looked like that, and then we're going to undo it. I'm sorry, we're going to redo it. Redo effect and make it sheer. So one more time, undo. This is what it looked like originally, and then when I hit redo, it's going to go to this nice sheer, and that's the look I'm going for. So at this point, I feel like my background is done enough, so I want to lock my layer. I'm going to zoom in on my layers panel. So to lock it, we know we click this little gray space here. We're going to hit a lock. The reason why I lock my layer is because I don't want my background to move around. Again, it's a personal choice. It's not like you have to do it this way, but this is the way I do it because I don't like things moving about when I'm trying to work. Okay, so my background layer is locked, and I'm gonna label it because we're probably gonna have a lot of layers on this particular project. So to label it, I just double click where it says layer 1. Oh, I wonder will it let me do it while I'm in Zoom. Let me zoom out. Oh, there it is. Okay, so when I double click it, this box pops up. I'm just going to type in, what do I want to type in? I'll call it cover background. Okay, boom. So now the next thing I need to do is make a new layer. Uh-oh. Hold on, I made a new document. Let me zoom, I was trying to zoom in, I hit the wrong function key. Okay, so I'm zooming back in so you guys can see it. So where it says create a new layer, that's what I want to do. All right, so layer 2 is going to be our text layer. So I did something different this time just to show you guys two things. The first time I double clicked it, when I double clicked on the layer, that box popped up, right? This time I want to show you what happens when I single click it. So I'm just going to click it one time. Oh, I hope that box didn't pop up. Okay, because I can't see it. Okay, let me try it again. When I click it one time, and you have to click on the actual words layer too, notice that now I can type in this space. So now I can type, maybe I'll call this cover text. So one more time, if I double click it, that box pops up and I can type in the title there. If I single click it, if I single click the layer, but it has to be the actual text, this box will pop up and I can type in there. So you got two different ways. Double click, you can type. If you single click, you can type. Either way, you can change the, the title of the layer. Okay, I'm zooming back out. All right, so I'm gonna call this thing, for my brochure, I said I was gonna travel to Cape Town, South Africa. So let me get my title started. I'm going to make a text box and I'm gonna type Cape Town because that's where we're going. Cape Town. Okay, so now I'm gonna highlight my type so InDesign knows what I'm changing. First of all, I need to change the font. We'll try Blackjack. The next thing I want to do is I want to change the size, right? Because we know this is not big enough for a title. That looks good. I'll tell you what I'll do from here. I'll zoom in so you can see it. So for our character panel, notice it's at 48. If I wanted to go to, let's say, 50, there is no 50 from the list. So I can either type 50 right here, or I can use these arrow keys. So if I go up one, it'll make my type bigger. Let me see if I can, scroll down so you can see both. It makes my type bigger. And the reason why these arrows are important, let's say I wanted to fill up that box. It'll show me how big I can get it. I can go all the way up to 57 before the box is over. Oh, even 58 before my box is too full. I can also do the same if I wanted to make it smaller. I can just go down. Okay, I'm going to leave it at 58 because that looks nice. All right, I'm not 100% in love with this font, but it's fine for the purposes of the demo. Okay, the next thing I want to do, now that I have Cape Town nice and large, let's change the color. So to do that, I'm going to go over to swatches. I'm going to select yellow. Let's say you didn't want to do swatches. You could also go down to color. Color will do it. They have gradient as well. But I personally like swatches. Unless you want to blend your own color, then definitely go to color, because color will allow you to blend your own color. All right, that looks pretty decent. The yellow looks nice with the blue. I'm going to now go to my black arrow again, because remember, the black arrow is like essential. It's part of, life for us. And I'm going to move this over just a tad bit. All right, I think I like that. I think I may also want to, I did not mean to right click. I think I may also want to change the effects on this one. So I'm going to right click on the word Cape Town. This menu drops down and I'm going to go to effects. So in effects, I'm going to go down to drop shadow. There we go. So now my drop shadow, and this is just, again, personal preference, is too far away from the word to me. I don't want that much space between the word Cape Town and the shadow of Cape Town. So I need to come over here to the X and Y coordinates, and I'm going to change them down. I'm just going to click down 1 for each one. I'm going to go down 1 for the Y and 1 for the X. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, for my Y, I want to go 1 more. And that looks good. Okay. I think I can live with that. Let me see what happens if I go down 1 more for the on that. Nope, don't like it. Okay, so I'll go back up. All right, I like that. So I end up going down 1 for my X, but my Y I went down twice. So I'm gonna press OK. And you kind of eyeball it and see, you know, what works best for you. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to type South Africa, because that's where Cape Town is located. So South Africa. Okay, I'm going to highlight this with my type tool. I need to make this bigger, and I need to change the font. So let's change this font to hands down. I'm going to make this maybe 30. Nope, too big. Let's try 24. 24 is not bad. I don't know if that's going to be my final answer, but it's not bad. Okay. And then I want to be on my type tool again. I'm going to highlight my type so InDesign knows what I'm doing. I'm going to go over to swatches and I want to click red. Okay, that's cool. So let's add a little flair to this, and I'm going to rotate Cape Town. So to do that, I'll zoom in so you can see my cursor change. To do that, you have to slide over to the corner. When I say slide, you're just moving your mouse closer to this white square. When you move closer to the corner, you'll notice it changes from an arrow to this double-headed arrow. That double-headed arrow means I can rotate. That's what it does. Okay? So look for the double-headed arrow. If you get too close, you're going to get this diagonal arrow. The diagonal arrow allows you to scale it. You can make it bigger or smaller. That's not what we want to do. So don't go on top of the square. You want to go just outside of it and get that double arrow. So I am going to, I'm going to rotate. And let's see if I like how this looks. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to press enter. Done with that. All right, I'll zoom back out. And then Cape Town, I think I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard to move it around. I think I might make it a little smaller. And I'm just eyeballing this, obviously. Okay. I think I like what we got going here. The next thing I probably would do, I probably put like a little tagline, you know, fun in the sun, or, you know, come visit us, something like that. For the back, you can put, you know, weather conditions, information about the country, maybe nightlife. You can talk about their currency. You can talk about the people, the fashion. There's a ton of things you can do. So I'm going to go back to my layers. I'm going to lock this layer because I'm done with this for right now. I want to make a new layer, and we're going to go down to the second page. The second page of our brochure is the inside of our brochure. So I'm going to write inside at the top just so we know what is what. All right, inside. And don't be afraid to leave yourself notes. I mean, I do it all the time when I'm dealing with multi-projects, like multi-paged projects. Sometimes it's easier for me when I can see, you know, what page I'm on, what I'm doing. So I leave myself notes in the margins. I also leave myself notes, or other people notes if I'm working on a group project with another designer. We'll leave each other notes in this white space because it does not print. So we'll, you know, put little side notes and different things to each other in the white space. So feel free to use that. Okay, so inside. All right, we got the inside going. First thing I want to do for this in my new layer is I'm going to add a background to this page. So let me get my box, my frame tool. And for this one, I'm going to do a picture that goes across all 3 of my panels. So all 3 panels. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go to Place. And then let me find a nice picture that I think will be great for this background. Let's try this one. I'm going to hit Open. Oh, not bad. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, because this picture is way too dark, it's way too rich, it'd be hard to read any type on top of this. So I'm going to do what I did on the cover. I'm going to click my black arrow. I'm going to bring my mouse over. I'm going to right click on this circle. And remember, we want to go to Effects. So Transparency. I'm going to make this thing super see-through, super transparent. So I'm probably going to go all the way down to maybe 20 and see how I like it. So I want the hint of an image, but I still want to be able to read my words on top. Okay, I think that's fine for now. So for layer 3, I'm going to lock it as always. For layer 3, I also think it's worth labeling. So I'm going to click the word layer 3, and then I'm going to type inside background. Gotta take my cap locks off. Inside background. Okay, so now I know where everything is. I'm going to make another layer. So new layer, and this time I'm going to add my text. So here's where the trickery begins, if you will. I'm going to go down to the type tool, which is the T over here. I'm going to make a text box, just one box, maybe this tall. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So I need a text box for each panel. So this one needs one, this one needs one, and this one needs one. And I want to make it so that they're linked. So that way my text flows from one box to the next box to the next box. Okay. So here's how it's not even a cheat. It's just more of, I have carpal tunnel, so I don't have a steady hand. So here's how I make my boxes the exact same size. I go to the black arrow tool, and I literally copy it and paste the same box over and over again. So all mine are uniform. So I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to go to copy. And when I go to place, I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. I go to edit, paste in place. So not just our regular paste like we normally do. I go to paste in place. And what that's going to do is it's going to put that box I just copied, it's going to put it directly on top of the first box. So I'm going to zoom out and show you what that looks like. So I'm going to hit paste in place. And it looks like nothing's happened, right? You're going to like, Tanisha, your paste didn't work. Actually, it did work. So all it did was paste one right on top. So when I hold down my shift key, and the reason why I hold down the shift key is we already know it makes everything uniform so you can't move it. I have two boxes. All right, so I'll do that again. So I held down my shift key so that way I can slide it directly over. If I don't have my shift key down, then this could happen. It could move all about. It could, get misshapen or something like that. I don't want that. So I hold down my shift key, I take my mouse, and I just click it and slide it over. That's it. And then I do paste in place again because I got a third box that I need. It placed right on top. I'm going to hold down my shift key on my keyboard. I'm clicking that layer and I'm pulling from the side. So one thing I want you to notice is that I'm not clicking in the middle, right? Because the middle doesn't always work. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. I usually try to click towards the edge so that way I know I'm getting my frame. Now, sometimes, InDesign's my friend, and if I click in the center, it'll slide over, no problem. But there's been other times where I click in the center and I cannot grab it. I'm like, I can't grab it. I couldn't grab it. It wasn't allowing me to grab it, I should say, because it was empty in the middle, so it wouldn't let me do it. Okay, enough chit chat. So now let's place some text. So to place the text, I'm going to go up to File, Place, because we know we can place text like we can place an image. I got my Cape Town text here. I'm going to hit Open, tap the first box, and here's your text. So I need to zoom in on this because you'll never see this on your own. Let me zoom all the way in and scroll down. I think I'm scrolling up. That's the opposite of what I'm trying to do. Okay, there we go. There is a red and white, it's a red little plus symbol right here. That plus symbol lets you know that you still have text left in this box. Okay? So anytime you see that plus symbol, you know there's more text that is not being shown. The text is cut off, and we have to get that text. So what we do is we click that red plus sign and watch what happens to my cursor. So right now my cursor is just an arrow. When I click that plus sign, let me hold on. I got to do this when I'm not zoomed out. When I click the plus sign, it loads my cursor with more text. So I'll zoom back in on my cursor so you can see it. So now my cursor has text on the inside of it. You guys see that? So I'm going to zoom back out. And now I can tap this box and put that text there. There we go. So now that remaining text that was in this box went over here. But wait, there's more. So look, we got another plus. So we click that plus again, and we put it in the third box. So now all of this text is linked. What does that mean, Tanisha? All this text is linked. That means what happens in one box affects the other boxes. So for example, this space here, if I delete a line over here, you notice this box moved. If I add a line over here, this box moves. So they're all linked now. So what you do to one affects the other. Okay, so this looks pretty decent. We don't have another plus symbol, so that means we've gotten all the text. If we did have another plus symbol, the only thing I would do is reduce my size so that I get all the text on the page. So right now, everything's at 12 point. I may have to go down to 11 point font to get everything to fit, or a 10 point font to get everything to fit. Okay, from here, and as a matter of fact, I think I will do that because I want to add some pictures, and I can't really add pictures right now because there's no space. The text is literally taking up all the space. So I'm going to highlight everything using my type tool. You got to be on the T to do this. I'm going to highlight all the type, and I'm going to just go down 1 point, and let's see how much space we get. That's great, from 1 point. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to keep it at 11 point for now. If I need to make adjustments, I will. Okay, so I'm going to call out these titles about Cape Town. So I think what I want to do is, maybe I'll use this hands down font. So I'm going to go to hands down. That's cool. Because it's a title, I'm going to make it bigger. So I'm going to make it 14. And then perhaps I can change the color. I'll make it red. I like that. Okay. So you'll notice like you'll get like these weird little peach squares. Anything peach means you don't have that font. So I copied this text directly from the internet, so there's no telling what, that really was. So I just delete it. Any weird characters, you'll notice I got a lot of these little weird characters too, this little cross shape. I don't know what, those things are, so you can go through and take them out of your text as you see fit. Okay, the next thing I want to do is, I think I'm going to add just one line there. That's good. Okay, and then I see another title, Why Go to Cape Town? So let's start the top of the document with that. I'll delete there. I'm going to do the same thing I just did. I'm going to highlight this. I don't think I need this little weird character either. I don't know what this little weird thing is about, but I'll get rid of it. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to change the font to hands down. I need to make it bigger. I think we had them at 14. And then instead of red, this time I'll make it green. That's nice. And then best things to do in Cape Town will be the next one. I'm just pressing the enter key on my keyboard. Let me highlight this title. We know we're going to use this font. We need to make it 14. And then this time, this color, I'll use blue. There we go. I could also center my titles if I want to. So I'm going to highlight about Cape Town. And then, excuse me, my voice is all shot. I'm going to go up to the top corner. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. I'm going to go up to the top here. This is where all our justifications are. So this is all our Microsoft Word tools. I'm going to hit center. And then my text moves over to the center. All right, so we got to do that 2 more times. So I'm going to highlight my text with the T. Got to be on the T to highlight. And then I'm going to hit center. Do the same thing here. Highlight it with the T. Go up to the top and hit center. Okay, we're looking good. So now let's add a couple pictures. Okay, I'm going to add a space here and press enter, add a little space. Get rid of some of this nonsense. Okay, so where do I want to add a picture? Maybe for here I can add a picture at the bottom. So let me get my frame and I'll just add a nice little image right here. I'm going to go to File, Place, as always, and maybe I'll add a picture of some citizens, some Cape Town citizens. So let me go to my black arrow. I'm going to right click on that circle and I'm going to go to fitting. Remember, these are people, so people have to be fit proportionally, okay? You cannot stretch them. You don't want to distort anybody. So we want to fill frame proportionally. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, and then over here, let's try something over here. We'll add another picture. And perhaps this picture, I don't know, we might make it wrap around some text or something. We'll figure it out. Let's see if I have any vertical pictures maybe. I don't know that I do, but we'll see. Let's go to File, Place. Let me see if I have a vertical picture. I don't have a vertical picture. Oh, I do. Here's a lady right here. Okay, let's use her. She'll be our example. Okay, so as always, the image is a lot larger than it needs to be for this box. So we need to fit it. I'm going to right click on my circle. We're going to go to fitting. And remember, it's a person, so it has to be proportional. So let's fill frame proportionally. Let's see what that looks like. I like it. Okay, we got her filled in, but it's cutting off our words, right? So our picture is right on top of our words. We're going to make it so that this text will wrap around our words, all right? So to do that, we're going to make sure this, we want to make sure this text wraps around our image. So to do that, we only have to click one button, and I'll show you where that button is. It's located right here at the top. I'll zoom in so you can see it. These right here, these are all our wraparound tools. So by default, it's set to no text wrap. This is the same in Microsoft Word. This one is wraparound bounding box. This one is wraparound object shape. So for example, if you had an object that was perhaps a circle, instead of wrapping around that square box, it'll wrap around the actual shape of the object, which could be a circle. And this one is a jump object. So it doesn't wrap around the object, it avoids it. So it either goes on top of the object or below the object. I'm going to pick wrap around the bounding box because I want it to wrap around the sides of our image. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out so you can see what that looks like in real time. Okay, so I'm clicking my wraparound box and watch our picture. So now the text has floated to the side of it. See that? How no matter where I move it, the text will go around it. There you go. All right, this looks like it's a title as well, so I'm gonna give it the love and respect it deserves. I'm gonna press enter so it has a space like everything else. I'll move my image down a little bit. Just to give it a little breathing room. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my T. I'm going to highlight the title. Let's see what color I have not used. I haven't used pink. I haven't used, what does yellow look like? Let me see if you can even see yellow. Well, I got to make it 14 and I need to make it hands down. Let's see if yellow is too light. Yellow is too light. I wonder, can I do... let's do a hot pink. Hot pink works for me. I could have also done like an orange. Maybe it's worth showing you guys how to do that. Let me go here. Let me hit center because we got to center it. And that's just kind of where we are with our design. So we've added a background, we've added pictures, we've added a little text. So now just an FYI, I'm not going to actually, you know, read word for word your text. So if you do happen to go to the internet and grab some stuff off, it's not going to be a big deal. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, you know, I didn't really like the way this sentence was structured. I'm not going to do that. I just want to make sure you guys know how to lay out an image, number one, and then number two, make sure you can manipulate the image if you choose to. I just saw extra space in there, so I thought I'd get rid of that. Okay, so I will stop the video here, and make sure you check out our class video if you have not already about our class session. It has a lot of detail in that video as well. Quick, before I go, I wanted to show you guys one more thing. Notice how the text is super close to the edge of this image. So what I want to do real quick is we need to open up the text wrap panel. So let's go to window, because remember, Windows like Walmart, everything's under window. Let's go to text wrap. And then you have a couple more options available to you. I'm going to click the image and notice these little, let me zoom in on it for you. Notice these little squares. It's showing you where you can add padding. So this one adds padding to the top, the bottom, the left side, and the right side. For us, we want to add it to the right side of the picture. So I'm going to hit the up arrow one time. Notice how it gave us a nice little pad to the right side. Isn't that nice? They gave us a little at the bottom as well. I can hit it one more time just to show you guys again what it looks like. I think that's nice. It's probably more space than we need. I think I might prefer it if I go down one. Okay, I'm going to zoom out so we can see what that looks like. There you go, that looks nice. So now the text is not so super close to the image. We got a little breathability, a little breathing room. So you guys play around with it. I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. And as always, I will see you in the next video.